Every year it happens the same way. Right now, people are feeling hopeful and motivated, certain that this year is going to be different. Things are going to change. The gyms were full this morning. Journals and planners are fresh and goals are feeling possible again. But there's a truth that most people don't want to admit out loud. It's that in a few weeks, the momentum's going to fade. February, life's going to come in and crowd like normal. And in March, a lot of people are going to be right back where they were before they started, disappointed with themselves and realizing that not a lot has changed. And it's not because they didn't want to change badly enough. It's because they didn't build a system that could really survive in real life. So today, I'm going to talk to you about one framework that I've personally seen work, not just for me, but for our entire team, and how it fixes the whole New Year's resolutions thing that everybody gets wrong. Welcome to the Maven Marketing Podcast. Today is Maven Monday. I'm Caleb Agee, and this is the place where we help you eliminate waste in advertising to grow your business and build a life that you can really be proud of. Today, we're not talking about tactics. We're not even necessarily talking about marketing, although I think this could apply. We're talking about how change can really happen. And this is a system that we've built over time here at Frank and Maven. We've done it on purpose, but I think we discovered it on accident, and it's quietly become one of the most powerful tools for personal and professional development inside of Frank and Maven. And so we call it 100-day goals. And here's kind of the core idea is we have this New Year's mindset. You know, the new year comes with a lot of hope and motivation, but it doesn't give us structure. We write down all the things we hope to achieve this year, and sometimes they just become that, ink on a piece of paper in your, the front of your journal, and not a lot of progress moves beyond that. And I think we all know the problem with resolutions, and some people try to change the name, call them expectations, call them goals, call them whatever. And the problem is the motivation can be thin or fragile because it shows up only at this time, right? We wrap around the year, we have new thoughts, we're creative, we're excited at the prospect of all these new things, but then the goals are really vague. We set year-long goals maybe, and they're so far away, and then they can really be kind of lonely. So we figured out that 100 days is kind of the sweet spot because years seem to go by fast, but a year is way too long, way too abstract. You just can't lock down real progress in that time. 30 days is too short. I'm not sure where we came up with 100 days. I guess it could have been 90, could have been one per quarter. 100 just feels like a fun round number. And I think that's really the science behind it if you're looking for one. And what we do is we say, today is actually our first Monday morning meeting as a team at Frank and Maven for this year. So our team this morning at 9 a.m. Central Time is going to be declaring their 100-day goals for the first chunk of this year. And we calculate against that first day out 100 days. If you just Google it, what's 100 days from today, you'll get that. And should land you somewhere in April, in the middle of April, if you're doing that pretty close to the date of this recording. And we all come together and we set 1 to 3 goals. I think more than 3 gets to be a little bit too much to keep track of. And before we do that, we're thinking about what is the core change that I want to see in me as a person? Who do I want to be at the end of that 100 days? Or who do I want to be becoming at the end of that 100 days? Are there any parts of me that I want to remove? Think bad habits, things that I want to break down, things that I waste time on, spend too much on. And then are there things that I want to build, new things that I want to be a part of, that I want to move toward? And so we think about that 100 days from now, the middle of April. I am not currently here, but I'd like to at least make progress toward this version of myself in 100 days. And then we work backwards and say, okay, well, let's make clear and smart goals. Some of those things may take literally years to become that person, to build a business, to write a book, to maybe it might be a big thing that I've got in my mind. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one bite-sized 100-day chunk out of that thing. Could be that I want to get myself in a certain kind of shape. Well, 100 days is not a whole lot of time to get your body into, a certain shape, or lose weight or gain weight, gain muscle, whatever you're trying to do. So we take these and we say, what's a goal, or 3 goals maybe, that I would want to do? And we always go back to these SMART goals. If you don't know about SMART goals, I'll break it down for you. SMART stands for specific, which means it cannot be general. It has to be like, do this thing. I'm going to give you examples here in a little bit, actual real examples from our team. It has to be measurable. So if there is a measurable outcome, or a specific, dollar amount, number of times you do something, whatever that looks like, has to be measurable, achievable. It needs to be reasonably, like, you could do that in 100 days. It needs to be relevant. It needs to be connected to that core change we just talked about. And then time bound is the T for SMART. And obviously we've set that for ourselves because we said 100 days. So I believe it's like anybody could do what I just described. Set a 100-day goal. We do it together as a team. We all share them. And if somebody's is not specific, if it's not clear or measurable, we have the ability, in kindness and respect toward each other, to call each other out on that. Like, that doesn't really make sense. How would you know if you're doing this? How would you know that you're on track? And so we help each other refine these goals, and we make them better. We make them stronger. And then we literally have a Google slide deck that we follow each Monday for our meeting. And we have one slide that is 100-day goals, has each person's name and then their goals across it. We just write them in plain text. We have fun and put a bunch of dumb emojis next to them because, I don't know, it's like person working out for that, if that's, maybe the category. A book, if you're reading books, whatever, painting, And so we just have a slide and we walk through this every Monday. Here's where it gets truly different, because you could set 100-day goals. You could write them in your journal right now. And I believe without this facet of it, you'll be missing out on a huge piece of this. And this is why we do it with our team. We have weekly accountability, sometimes daily, because we all know what each other is trying to do. But every Monday morning, we pull that slide back up. It is slide 3 in our team's meeting list. We start with personal things and then we pivot toward our work things. So we don't spend our whole time just talking about ourselves, but we do start on personal things before we talk about our shared mission. And at the very beginning of this, we are asking Nate, the camera guy, how are you doing? And he looks up at his goals that he's declared. Hopefully he knows them by heart because he's working hard on them. He'll be like, yep, I'm on track. I did this and this week, feeling good. Or he might say, not doing so well. Haven't even made any progress. I haven't really gotten started on that. And once again, we give the whole room permission to ask questions and to push when we feel like progress is stalling. And I think that's the beauty of this, is it brings accountability. I think everybody maybe has this, some people can have a weird relationship with the word accountability, and it can sound like somebody checking in on you or something strange. Accountability is a powerful tool. And the people you spend the majority of your waking hours with would be a great set of people to help push you toward these goals, the person you want to become. And so, Nate, if I'm on, off track and I maybe have a week might be a fluke, but 2 weeks, if he notices that I have not been on track for what I want to do, he might call me out on that. Hey, that's like the second week in a row that you haven't shared any progress. Are you going to start that book? You're going to start reading it? Are you going to get in the gym? Are you going to, whatever it is, are you going to start saving your money? And he can call me out. He has total permission to do that. And then I'll be like, yeah, I feel like I'm not finding the time. I feel like these things are getting in my way. And what we do is he or the whole room will have permission really to help me take that first step. So it's like, okay, well, what could we do today to help you move forward on that? It's like, well, we could get really practical, and we find this like little micro gain where we can make it a part of our life. So it's not about bringing shame. It's just about holding each other accountable and not letting each other drift. One of my favorite quotes of all time is from James Clear: "We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems." And I just imagine there are some people who think that you can like strap on a jetpack and shoot up and slap a goal and like hit that sign. It's like, psh, I hit it. And then the reality is that jetpack was only a short-lived thing. What you need to move is the platform you started standing on. You need to raise the floor so that you don't have to jump as high to hit that goal. And that is true in business, but it's also true in your personal life, which is we create systems that allow us to get better over time. So I asked our team before we recorded this, we have team members who have been here 10 plus years, and we've been doing this for the majority of our time as a business. And I asked them all, I'm going to anonymize these, but I asked them all genuinely, what were your most impactful 100-day goals? And here, I just wanted to give you some really practical ones because these have happened over the years, and I think that it'll be inspiring for you. So one person mentioned 3 things. She mentioned 75 hard. If you haven't done that before, it is hard. That was the hardest and most rewarding one that she did. She did no meat for 100 days, just a total reset for the body. And then she put 2,500 in savings over the course of a 100-day interval, which is difficult. Like that's hard to find if you weren't already in the habit of saving at that rate, to be really intentional with your budget, the spending, and then be able to put that savings. And she found that intentional spending helped a lot. We had another team member, actually on his first day, it just lined up that it was one of the days we were starting a 100-day segment. And he decided, he had done it in the past, but not maybe as consistently. He decided to do intermittent fasting. And he said he lost 20 pounds just in his first 100 days at Frank and Maven, which is pretty fun, pretty cool. But he said that being a rhythm in his diet and the way his body composition is, that intermittent fasting really helps him. And so he was like, that was a really powerful thing. Another guy said saving $20 a day. This guy literally has a mechanism. I think he does it weekly, so it's not like every day there's $20 getting drawn over to a savings account, but every week he does the equivalent of $20 a day. And he's pushed himself to do that kind of savings goal. He also mentioned replacing sugar with protein, increasing his protein intake. And he mentioned that he felt like the things that were more daily minded, which I think is going to be a theme you'll hear from all of these, the things that were more daily minded felt like they had a better outcome because they were building habits. Another team member, she mentioned keto being one of the hardest dietary restrictions she's ever tried, but having the accountability here, doing keto for 100 days was a really powerful reset and pushed her to pull that off. And then reading her Bible every day created a structure that actually let her complete that throughout the entire year. A couple of team members mentioned getting up earlier. For different people, it's different times. I have kids, so it's really early if I want to get some like morning time before. But for a couple of our team members, they were one was getting up at 5 a.m., another one was getting up at 6 a.m. And for both of them, this was a push beyond where they were. And it's not like we're measuring one against the other, but we genuinely are pushing each other to be who we want. And so they felt like they had more margin, less stress, more intentional mornings, which set up for better days. Couple other people I'm going to mention. One mentioned kind of a one-time goal of clearing out her garage. So garage was a mess. I think she actually had been reselling, like flipping, like Facebook Marketplace type things. And she had accumulated a lot of things, but not moved it out. And so she made a goal of selling those things or getting them out, no matter what. And she ended up with less clutter. She felt like she had a clearer mind, and she ended up with more money because she got some stuff sold. And another team member actually started a business that she had been kind of side hustling on, and formed an official LLC, which really, for her, unlocked confidence that she was legit in what she was doing. We actually at Frank and Maven, we encourage, obviously not if it's a conflict, but we encourage people to have side hustles, to be entrepreneurial minded, because I think it helps them push themselves, and it helps them be better consultants for the business owners we get to talk to when they themselves are business owners. And so she unlocked this confidence by forming an LLC. Very simple, small first step, but it really helped her mentally legitimize the business that she had done. For me personally, one of the most impactful 100-day goals I ever set was simple. It was read 3 books. 100 days is just over 3 months, a book a month. And the person I wanted to become was, I wanted to be a reader. I wanted to consider myself well-read. And for probably the better part of a year, sometimes there were more than one goals, but one of my goals was read books in some form. And so I did that probably for 12 or 15 months. And I felt like that really set me off on a path where I was consistently reading all the time. And it created that habit in me and made me want to read. Instead of maybe my motivation being initially like, I want to read, but I don't have the time or the motivation. I found the time, I made the motivation, and it became a part of who I am. And I think the best goals aren't necessarily about finishing something. And that's the beauty of this. Sometimes it can be like, I want to complete this thing. I want to start this business by this time. I want to clean up my garage by this time. I want to paint this room. Some people have those goals, but I found consistently, as I thought about mine and our team thought about theirs, the best goals were actually about becoming something, doing something habitually. Habit is something you do automatically. It starts with a trigger, a response, and a reward. And habits you do every single day, no matter what. Your heart is beating, you are breathing. There are habits. You'll drive to work. Maybe right now you're driving to work, you're listening to my voice, and you're driving, and you're not even thinking necessarily about where you're going, because you have this habit loop that is happening and you're kind of in autopilot. Now that I've said it, I've shocked you out of autopilot and you're actually thinking about the people in front of you and around you. But that is something that can happen, is where you have this automatic thing, and it takes repetition for those things to become a habit. And so what we really are allowing ourselves to do is make these things common, make them normal, make them a part of us, just like breathing is, and then they become exactly the trajectory of where we're going. I want to share one more bonus story from somebody who used to work here at Frank and Maven, but actually hasn't worked here in 2 or 3 years now. She texted us just last month, which is, it's really cool that she was able to, they've really worked their budget, and she was able to pay off her husband's student loans early. He went to graduate school, had more student loans than most people in a medical field, and she was able to surprise him with the payoff letter of his student loans as you know, before Christmas, as a big Christmas surprise. And the crazy thing is that this literally started at 100-day goal that we had on this list, which was, I want to contribute more to pay off the student loans. It was like, I can't remember the specifics, but it was like, we're going to contribute X amount more per month to pay off these student loans faster. And that thing that happened 3-4 years ago has now snowballed into this last month. She was able to pay off those student loans way earlier than she ever would have considered doing it. And so a small habit done faithfully really can create a moment that you won't forget. James Clear, again, he's the habit guy. If you haven't read Atomic Habits, you should definitely do so. Success is the product of daily habits, not once in a lifetime transformations. So, get in this rhythm, set your 100-day goals, and get with your team. And what you're going to do, you're going to come together. You're going to give them some warning. Don't just show up at the next meeting, the next staff meeting, and be like, all right, guys, we're going to set 100-day goals. What do you want it to be? What you need to be to allow them to do, I think it's important that you have a culture of improvement. People want to be better. This is the reality. I think people they get disgruntled, they get tired, they get frustrated because they don't feel like they're growing. And they may spend 40, 50, maybe 60 hours a week at work or with work, and they can sit there and blame work for the lack of growth that they feel. The reality is you can push them to grow in their positions, in their role, but the rhythm of what they do may not change. They may not have a whole lot of opportunity for title changes, for raises. You may not have room for all of these things. Their intrinsic value, this is just like a personal thing, their intrinsic value cannot only come from what they produce as a human at work. Yes, that helps, that supports, it makes you feel confident, you feel success, you feel satisfaction in a job well done, but they also need to be becoming the person that they imagine themselves being. And you have the ability to bring that to your team, to bring that to your workplace. If you're not necessarily a leader in your workplace, bring this to your leadership. Show them, send this episode, bring this to your leadership, and show them what they might be able to do. And I promise you will see habits formed, bad habits kicked. People have lost hundreds of pounds cumulatively, not one person. Cumulatively, people have gained weight through muscle, like intentional. They've changed their diets. They've saved thousands of dollars, paid off entire loans, paid off debt at levels that they hadn't imagined. They've pushed themselves to start new businesses, to write books, to do all of these crazy things. And it's really, really a beautiful thing. So give your team a warning in a good way. Say, hey, we're going to do this. You should forward them this episode so that they can get an idea of some of the goals that might help them think about who they want to become. And you're going to say, hey, on this next staff meeting, this next team meeting, we're going to start this 100-day goal thing. Make a slide, make it whatever, make it a whiteboard in your office. I don't really care. It needs to be visible. It needs to be easy to find. It needs to be obvious. And have each person declare their 100-day goals. If you have a larger organization, you can do this on a team level. So per department or team, and each team could lead this little workshop and hold each other accountable. Set 1 to 3 SMART goals. These can be personal or professional. There's no rules on this. I think naturally, sometimes people will be like, I want to read more of a professional book. I want to grow in this way. Sometimes it's, I want to grow in this personal way. Here's the deal. When they're growing as a person, they will grow as a professional. That is the reality. If your goal is, if your mode when you're implementing these 100-day goals is to just kind of force people to become better so that their output is better, so your business is better, that will be the wrong mentality to approach this in. Your goal has to be that they become better people, and healthy people actually make healthy businesses. And that's the reality. So everybody declares their goals. Make sure that it's clear, it's a SMART goal, and then review it every week, every single week. I don't know if maybe you have to do it if your team's not all together. Maybe you do it in a Slack channel and everybody calls out how they do it. How are you doing? Put a screenshot of the graphic, everybody's goals. How'd you do this week? Maybe that's how you have to do it. I think it does better in person or verbally, but do that. And then give everybody permission to challenge, even you. If you're the leader, they have permission to challenge you, to push you to be better and to grow. So hope you are kicking off this year with a lot of excitement. I hope that it is not thin emotional excitement, but that you can use this to raise your systems. You can use this to create habits that become a normal part of who you are, and not just like a short-term motivation burst that fleets as quickly as January ends. What I would love for you to do, if you're on YouTube, jump down in the comments, drop yours in there, and let us know what your 100-day goals. 1 to 3, SMART goal. Maybe we'll obviously see the timestamp, so we'll know that it's going to happen in 100 days. Let us know what it is. And Brandon and I, here in this podcast, I think we're going to bring it up every once in a while. We can't be that person. We are here weekly, but I don't think we're necessarily the right people to hold you accountable. We do want to ask you, we want to push you, and we're going to ask you about this. We'll remind you when that 100-day cycle is over, so you can set up another one. But drop that in the comments. If you're just on a podcast app, hop over to YouTube, throw it in the comments, because why not? You could also email us at mavenmonday@frankandmaven.com. For your goal, or if you have questions about this system, if you would like to see the slide we use, it's very, very simple, but we'll send that right over to you. And if you have any other questions about marketing, business, or life, if it makes sense, we will answer it on this podcast for you on a future episode. So if you enjoyed this, hit subscribe. That really helps us. Give us 5 stars. Give us a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. All the things. That helps us push this to more people so we can help businesses grow. We will be here every Monday answering your real life marketing and advertising questions, because marketers who can't teach you why are just a fancy lie. See you next time.